Hello and welcome to Share Talk. I am Bonnie Hughes. Our guest today is Alba Min Res. Their stock price has actually almost doubled in a month. They have two gold projects in the UK. One may be well known, the Clogau gold mine, which the royal family gets their gold from, and also the oil and gas project in the Weald Basin called Hore Hill, and they also have a multitude of projects in Greenland. And here to tell us all about the company is George Frangeskides, who is the chairman. Hello, George, and thank you for joining us.
Hi, Bonnie. Thanks for having me.
And so your recent rise in your share price, what do you attribute that to?
Well, we're doing a lot of work. So I think we've been waiting for things to develop on a number of our assets, and we're out in the field now. So there's excitement, I guess, once we're out in the field and doing work, and results will flow from that in terms of Hore Hill, in terms of our Greenland assets, which I'm sure we can touch on. So I think, at a guess, which is all it is really, is that we're we're moving the projects forward.
That's excellent. And so with the Clogau mine, you just announced this week that you are now taking a 90% interest.
Yep.
So obviously you must be seeing some interesting things there.
Yes, look, I mean, it's a fantastic story, it's a fantastic project. It's unique, really, in terms of UK terms, certainly. It's the UK's largest producer of gold. Historically, it's, as you alluded to, it's a gold project that has a long history. The royal family has used it for their wedding bands for 100 years. It's high-grade gold, pockets, narrow vein pockets of gold, and that's what we're looking to find. And we think there's very good prospects for finding unworked veins in the old mine. There's a huge amount of underground development that's there that we will benefit from, but it's also an entire gold belt that we have under license, or we will have when we complete this transaction. And that gold belt has been massively underexplored over the centuries. What we've discovered is about 300 workings and occurrences of gold on that license. We want to go in. We can't look at all 300, but we want to go in and look at a few of the really what we think are the high priority targets. So with Clogau, it's a dual focus: try and get the mine back into production as soon as possible, go into the exploration ground and try and find another Clogau to supplement the ounces that are there. So we're pretty excited about it, and as I say, it's a very unique proposition for our shareholders.
Oh, that's excellent. And so with the Hore Hill project in the Weald Basin, that is expected to be in production around 2019, mid-2019. How is that progressing?
Well, it's progressing very well. So I think, again, in terms of the excitement that's come back into our share price, if you like, at a guess, we're flow testing at Hore Hill. So we've been in a regulatory process for quite some time. We got through that. We got all our permissions. We announced we were going back into site end of June. And it's a 150-day flow test program. So it's a very significant program of work. It's testing 3 different zones. The Portland, which is a historic producer in the Weald Basin, for 30 to 40 days, and then 30 to 40 days at 2 Kimmeridg layers, which are limestone and shale layers. So we're testing 3 different zones. The objective, I guess, obviously, is to try to find commercial volumes of oil. So that's what we want to find, and if we do, then the consortium will move forward to apply for a production license. So we're on the cusp of a significant development one way or the other at Hore Hill.
And I understand you have another oil and gas project that you have a small interest in that is in production.
We do. At the Weald Basin also, it's Brockham. Angus Energy is the operator. We have a 5% interest there. It is in production in a small scale way at Brockham number 2 well. It's Brockham number 4 well, similar to Hore Hill, has similar profile to Hore Hill in terms of targeting the Kimmeridg layers. That's the one we'd like to see go back into production. It's in the planning process at the moment. Hopefully that will be resolved soon. That will be a very different profile because it's a production license. So as soon as it can go forward into production, we should be seeing revenues from there if all goes well.
Oh, well, that's excellent for a company to start generating
Absolutely.
Revenues. So that's where you expect your first sort of revenues from, is possibly that
Realistically,
project?
yes. I mean, that's where we'd hope that they'd come on stream, hopefully all being well later this year, yeah.
And then in Greenland, my goodness, you have a multi-commodity projects there, just
Yes.
to cover all bases.
Yes.
And so what one is the one that seems to be the most interest?
Well, I think the focus at the moment is Tule Black Sands, which is our high-grade mineral sands project in northwest Greenland. Look, we've been in Greenland for 3-4 years now. We're very comfortable with the environment there. It's a very sophisticated mining jurisdiction. A lot of people may not know that, but there's a lot of very big mineral deposits in Greenland. A lot of people have been working there for some time. Some quite large companies engaged in work in Greenland. And we started with Amitsoq, which is still a very good project. It's a high-grade graphite project. We saw an opportunity late last year to go into northwest Greenland, a project that we call Thule Black Sands, which is a mineral sands project up in northwest Greenland. We've done a little bit of work there because we only got the license late last year, and we've found very good grades, 10% in situ ilmenite, the ilmenite quality averaging about 46.4%. These are very solid results and solid foundations, and we're in the field at the moment, and we are looking to build on that. The objective clearly is to get an initial resource and build the project from there.
And do you have a timeline for the possible initial resource on that?
Well, I'd say the work is ongoing. So the objective is to get enough information essentially this year to be able to get a resource by the end of the year. That's the objective. So that'll, I think, give people a lot of confidence in the project, that it's real and that it's moving forward in a sensible fashion.
And most people don't follow ilmenite prices, and obviously there's been quite an improvement in the price over the last year or so.
Yeah, so I mean it's a huge market. I mean titanium dioxide. So ilmenite is a source of titanium dioxide. Titanium dioxide is mainly used as a whitening pigment in paints and plastics. I think it's about 60% paints and 30% plastics, and then some others. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, $18 billion per annum, I think, projected to rise steadily over the year as industrialization and construction continues in the Far East, India, all the places that we know all about that industrialization is happening. So it's a massive industry, it's a massive sector, and what we've got there we know is high-grade, low-contaminant ilmenite, which should be of interest to end users.
And I understand one of your projects in Greenland has cobalt, along with other commodities.
It does. Now, I would love to say that, because what we know is that they have a mineral hunt in Greenland every year, so people can go out and find rocks. And someone a few years ago found a rock in West Greenland, near to our license. I can't say it's on our license, but near to our license, grading at 8.8% cobalt. So
wow.
It would be lovely to find some of that on our ground. We certainly know that there is cobalt. I mean, the assays have come back in past explorers have found 0.14% cobalt, which is actually a very, very good grade. Not 8.8%, but anyhow, a very good grade. So, but it's Inglefield land, which is very near to where we're working at Thule. So we're working in this area in northwest Greenland, and we're able to get logistical benefits from working both projects at the same time. It's not just cobalt. Inglefield land is known for good grades of copper, gold, zinc, nickel, and cobalt. So it is it's a multi-phase, multi-commodity project. We're out in the field at the moment, so we'll hopefully get some interesting results out of that.
Oh, that would be great to get some good results of 8.8% on cobalt for sure.
No promises, I hesitate to say.
Absolutely not. Mm-hmm. And so Blue Jay Mining is close to one of your projects in Greenland as well.
Yes, so they've got if you like, the rest of the coastline up at in northwest Greenland, on this coastline that we've taken the rest of the coastline, if you like, under license. And they've been working three years, so a lot longer than us, and they've done fantastic work, and they've built a significant deposit and a significant company. We're finding very similar grades of ilmenite. Obviously, what we can't say is how much we've got at present. So what the next stage is to start to show that we've got significant tonnage potential. That's the key from here.
And you raised about $750,000 in April, which I'm sure you're deploying quite rapidly on most of your field work.
Yeah.
Will that take you to the sort of end of whatever you need to do for this year?
Well, we raised money, yes, in terms of making sure that we had funded the budgeted program for our share of costs at Hore Hill for the extended well test operations. So we've fully funded our share of the budgeted EWTs. So that was one purpose of raising the money, and the other purpose of raising money was to be able to go out into Thule and Inglefield to do work there. So that's what the purpose of those funds was. And you say they're deployed, and it is a bit chunky, if you like, in terms of how we go about raising money. We did raise quite a bit, but we had a sort of key focus in terms of making sure that we hit our work goals this summer. So that was really critical. I think it's critical for our shareholders to understand that there's method to the madness.
Exactly.
There's a reason for, as I say, sort of raising money at that particular time in order to make sure we can execute what we need to do to hopefully push our share price forward.
And so you basically started the company in Wales projects, and then you moved to Greenland. What was the purpose of going to Greenland? Was there just good value in the projects that you could see?
Well, we look around, we look at projects all the time. I mean, you might be surprised. I mean, we're not actively looking for another project as we speak. We have a lot of projects. What we are doing now is obviously in a process of working this summer and on a lot of our projects, and working out where we take them. Some we hope to take forward on our own. Others we might look to joint venture. And so we're keeping an open mind on that. There's a lot of interest in our projects, and that's good to see. So there's a lot of people that are interested in, obviously, in the oil and gas story, very interested in Clogau. It's a very high newsworthy project and high profile, very interested in our mineral sands projects. But, you know, our focus is always to push forward our projects on our own to the extent we're able to. But we are open-minded. If a project is not certainly our focus, is there somebody else who will help us to push it along? So, you know, those thoughts are progressing and will progress throughout the year, I'd say. But, you know, if there's news, we'll let you know.
Well, it's always a good objective to build value in your projects before
Yes.
you bring someone on,
Yes.
so that you don't dilute your shareholders and keep as much value within the
Correct.
company yourself.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, and our viewers look forward to hearing all your news flow on the projects, and we hope to see you again. Thank you, George.
Thanks, Bonnie.
Thank you for joining us on Share Talk, and have a very profitable day.